Good morning, children. Today we are starting a new chapter of Geography, Chapter 8 Human Environment, Settlement, Transport, and Communication. Human settlement. Human settlements have progressed in a big way since the nomadic tribes and settlers of the River Valley civilization of about 5,000 years back. Settlements in earlier times used to be temporary in nature. People in those times used to settle at a place, practice hunting, gathering of food, shifting cultivation, and once the resources of the area were not enough to meet their needs, they moved to another area. This was known as temporary settlements. This practice is almost non existent in today's environment, except for some tribes in the forest and hilly areas. People now prefer to settle in one place and make their dwellings permanent. Human settlement means cluster of dwellings of any type or size where human beings live. Settlement patterns vary from place to place. A settlement can range in size from a small number of dwellings grouped together into villages to the largest of cities. The term may include villages, towns, and cities. Settlements come up and grow in size depending on various factors like climatic conditions, availability of water, suitability of land of cater for other basic needs, fertility of soil. Settlements are also classified in terms of density in terms of their nature permanency. Let us see this flow chart. Settlements are divided into two parts, temporary and permanent settlements. Then again, permanent settlements are divided into two parts, that is rural and urban settlements. Urban settlement. An urban settlement is an area that is densely populated. They have an abundance of man-made structures as opposed to rural areas, which contain more open space. Urban settlements normally have more developed infrastructure than rural areas like sewer systems, roads, and public transport systems. Many urban settlements contain racially, ethnically, and culturally diverse population. Normally, the main occupation of the people who reside here is trade, administrative, and industrial in nature. Urban settlements get further distinguished by size into town and cities. Urban settlements can grow for different reasons. Rural settlement. Rural settlements are generally associated with agriculture as the primary occupation. They also have animal husbandry and cottage and small scale industry. They are normally small in size as compared to towns and cities. Generally, lifestyle of people is very simple. They have few shops, primary health center, schools, etc. to meet the basic requirements of the people. These settlements are subgrouped as scattered and compact settlements. Compact settlement. Where settlements in rural areas are compact, they have slightly better organized health and education facilities in immediate vicinity. Facilities like shops, post office, bank, etc. are all close to the houses. It is like a town but a smaller scale. Normally, such settlements are so small they do not have public transport systems and distances are walkable. Scattered settlement. When a settlement has a few isolated huts or houses, it is called scattered. These types of settlements are found in hilly areas, deserts, and forest. They do not have much resources and support. Habitat. Humans have been living in various parts of the world which have different terrain and geological conditions. There are regions which remain under snow for the whole year, and there are others where there is water all around. There are regions of mountains and deserts, forest and barren land, all necessitating adapting their lives conditions to meet the local conditions of weather and climate. Cold regions. Some communities have been living in the Arctic regions for centuries. They survive in sub zero temperatures by living in ice houses called igloos. These igloos are small huts which are made of ice blocks. Inside the igloos are lined with animal skins so that the people could live in them throughout the harsh winters as well. Mountains. In the mountains, people make huts and houses very close to the hillside so as to prevent fast winds from lashing against them. Their houses have sloping roofs so that the seasonal snow and rain flows down, thereby preventing it from accumulating on top of the roof. At some places like Kashmir, the houses also have lofts to keep food for animals on the top floor so that it does not get wet in snow and rain outside. Even in areas that get frequent rains, the houses are built with sloping roofs, which are either thatched or with mud baked tiles. Jungles and waterlogged areas. In the jungles, animals can prowl near houses, and in plains where water often tends to overflow and enter the houses. People living in such areas have devised ways to protect themselves from these dangers. They build houses on stilts. This helps them to be safe from both animals and sudden floods. Deserts. In the desert areas, roofs are normally flat as there is no fear of rain and its drainage is not important. But people build high roofs so that the inside remains cool. The construction material is locally available stone and they have windows and corridors that helps keep the interiors cool. In an open desert, people build houses with low roofs very close to the base of the sand dunes so that they can withstand the fast blowing winds. Modern dwelling. While all these adaptations were traditional, modern science and use of newer construction material and heating and cooling devices, the construction patterns have changed in a big way. The availability of electricity, air conditioners, prefabricated huts, room heaters, waterproofing materials, etc. have changed the way in which houses are built by people across the various parts of the globe. The lack of space in cities has led to the building of high rise and multi story buildings which are even earthquake resistant. Most of them now save rainwater as part of the structure. Transportation. Transport. Transport is the means by which people and goods move through roads, railways, airways, and waterways. Roadways. As the population started spreading to newer places, people started moving from place to place. This movement gave rise to paths and tracks. Earlier, the tracks were wide enough to take the width of a cart. Such tracks were kacha, not having a hard surface, or unmetalled roads. Gradually, as people started using cars, buses, and trucks, the kacha roads began to be made into hard surface roads. These roads have a layer of stones and tar on them and are known as pakka or metalled. Their width also increased due to increase in traffic. Roads within the cities are normally given names to assist people to find their way. Roads connecting cities are called highways. These are grouped as national highways and state highways. The national highways are constructed and maintained by the central government, and the state highways by the state governments. There are rural roads which connect the villages to the state and national highways. The roads are the most important way to connect centers on land. People can move easily from place to place on the roads. They can be built over difficult hilly terrain. Water channels can be crossed by construction of bridges. Roads help in the movement of people and goods from one part of the country to another. Wherever required, the crossings are made underground, called subways, or by overhead bridges. Railways. Railways is another transport system which helps move people and goods en masse. Passenger and goods trains run over tracks for long distances in comparatively lesser time than it takes on as there are no traffic jams and bottlenecks. They carry more load than trucks and buses combined and are cheaper mode of transport compared to the roadways. They support movement of grain and industrial products. However, there is difficulty in developing their network in hilly areas as compared to roads. This terrain brings in the need for tunneling through mountains, which is a difficult and time-consuming process. India has one of the largest network of railways in the world, connecting many villages, towns and cities. There are a variety of trains as local trains, suburban trains, passenger trains, express trains, superfast trains, goods trains, etc. Nowadays, mass rapid transit system, commonly known as metro, runs in many cities and are a common means of public transport. Some cities are also developing other systems like the monorail in highly congested areas. These have reduced the traffic on the roads and at the same time it has reduced the pollution in the environment. Waterways. Waterways are a water transport system that are used for movement of people and goods over rivers, lakes and other water bodies. Boats and rafts are used primarily as they can move on shallow water and do not need deep waters to float on. They supplement the roads by helping people and goods cross water bodies. You can see many such transportation systems in the Ganga and Brahmaputra rivers as well, as in Kerala and Goa. Shipping is a means of transporting goods along the shoreline, across seas and oceans. They are slow and time consuming, but are required for carrying heavy and bulky loads. They were initially used to carry passengers, but are gradually losing this utility as it is a much slower means of transport than other means of travel. They, however, are gaining some support in the tourism industry in form of cruises. Most shipping industry today is being used as bulk carriers of containers, ores and as oil tankers. Airways. Airways are the fastest, most comfortable and most expensive mode of transport in recent times. They can easily cross over geographical boundaries and vast stretches of seas and oceans. They can negotiate across difficult terrain like mountains, deserts, dense forests with great ease within a short period of time. Fast international travel between different countries of the world have become possible because of the development of airways. Airways play a vital role during natural and man-made calamities like floods, earthquakes, famines, etc. Food, medicines and clothes can be provided to the affected people. The other form of air travel is the helicopters, and they are gaining popularity as they do not need elaborate arrangements to take off and land. They are being widely used for casualty evacuation from remote areas. In certain situations, helicopters are used as air ambulances, which help in saving the lives of serious patients. However, airways have certain limitations. Their use is restricted by climatic conditions like dense fog or heavy storm. Communication. People have to communicate with each other for various matters like social, cultural, economic, political, or even technological. You may have heard stories and incidents about how pigeons were trained by people to carry messages, and also how people were required to carry orders and instructions of the kings by horse riders to the various parts of the kingdoms. Gradually, the system of post and telegrams was developed. Thereafter came the telephones with the wires, and people could communicate over long distances. After the radio and the television were invented, people could get to know what was happening in other parts of the world while sitting in their homes. Then came the period of pagers, which could communicate text messages to people. Nearly at the same time, the internet came in popular use. It changed the way we interact, communicate, and do so many of our daily chores. People can now easily pay bills, book tickets, send mails, and explore the world through the internet. Many schools have started using computers and internet to teach in classrooms, schedule homework to students, interact with parents of students, etc. People use the internet even today on their mobile phones. It helps people to talk to others across the globe. These devices are so good, they can even take pictures, transmit the receive pictures, and at the same time even play videos on handheld instrument. All such devices of communication and infrastructure have made the world look like a small place or global village.